Chargers defensive coordinator Jesse Minter, who, in fairness, has been linked pretty heavily to the Baltimore job, but one of the succulent six, the six candidates the Browns had set for second interviews. So, ostensibly, the six finalists for the Browns job, he has announced that he's pulling out of this job, and now the Browns have gotten out there because they want you to know it was actually a mutual thing.
Yeah, the mutual part of this. And that's fine. Take it whatever way you want. Think about it. If you believe the Jordan Schultz report that they want to go young offensive mind, then I guess Minter doesn't satisfy that. But the reality is that Minter's going to take the Baltimore Ravens job.
Yeah.
That's why this is mutual. It's not mutual. It's Minter taking the Baltimore job.
Yes, this is damage control by the Cleveland Browns. They had no real reason to panic with McDaniel because I think they knew they weren't hiring Mike McDaniel. And whether that was they had just gotten that Mike wouldn't take the job, whatever it was, Mike ending up being an OC somewhere, one of six candidates, well, that tends to happen a little bit in coaching searches. One of your 6, 7, 8 finalists is 6, 7.
8, 9.
Finalist, it's not unorthodox that one of those guys says, hey, got another job, and for whatever reason, especially when it comes to the guy doesn't think he's getting the job. You should have seen the Jesse Minter thing coming a mile away.
I think that's why people aren't crushed.
Oh, see, that's why I'm annoyed.
Because I think people saw it coming a mile away, and I think people put together that this was ultimately going to happen.
See, I think they should have seen this a week ago when they wanted to interview Jesse Minter, let alone yesterday I said on air, wouldn't it be funny if Jesse Minter pulled out ahead of his in-person interview because that would make back-to-back days of this happening.
Yeah, well, after the Lock and Four report, I thought that was the assumption.
Yeah, so like if maybe this was a more robust pool of candidates, this isn't as big of a deal. The problem is, in my estimation, the two best candidates in this class that you had of the succulent six are now gone.
Yeah, okay, but
that's a problem for me.
Yeah, but McDaniel left for what I believe to be as a lesser job, right? OC is not as good of a job as a head coach. This is where I think a lot of fans and myself is going to give him the old Peterlin pass on this one.
The Peterlin pass.
Is the idea that you're not beating out Baltimore for a job. Like Baltimore wants Jesse Minter, you were never going to beat out Baltimore for the job.
I think that's been the take I've seen on social media. Here's the thing, guys, 33% of their candidates said no thanks, and look at the other 4. This is totally, if they had 4 other candidates that I thought were good candidates for a head coaching job, I don't think I would have as strong opinions on this.
Yeah, it was the part that sucks is that, in any way, when we got down to the succulent 6, it felt like it was McDaniel 1 and then Minter for yourself at least at number 2. Mm-hmm. And so now both of them are just ripped right off the board. But like even if Udinski goes to Buffalo, let's say, all right, you didn't reel him in, but you lost out to Josh Allen in Buffalo. That's not the end of the world.
Yeah, but it is because that'd be half of your final candidates.
I know. They keep sniping them away, and that's why you have to add guys. Like maybe Sean McDermott in the mix. Maybe we got to find a new way to do this, and we're running out of guys to be able to add with, obviously. I mean, you have to put accounting in for the idea that you're going to lose out to some better teams.
Yeah, but I think the fear has always been, is this going to be Mike Pettin 2.0? Where it's like, hey, we're not gonna wait for Dan Quinn. Chip Kelly told us no. This guy told us no. This guy told us no. We're not going to wait. We're going to hire a different bald goateed head coach here. And Mike Pettin was their 6th choice.
Yeah.
That's what this looks like right now. And I don't know. And listen, maybe we need to address this. Maybe this is the coaching profession who has been steered to believe that Kevin Stefanski was Oliver Twist asking for more at any point and was told no and was continuously forced into things. Maybe this is the coaching profession giving the Browns their opinion of what they think of the Browns. Because here's the thing.
Could be.
This would be another thing. And I heard Lima talk about Chris Shula saying thanks, no thanks when it came to interest in the job.
Yeah.
There are other names.
Lime was reporting, by the way.
Clint Kubiak was a guy that was in pretty much every other search. He's a finalist for the Raiders job. Clint Kubiak was not interviewed in this cycle, despite being interviewed for the OC job a year ago. There are other names, too. Obviously, there are a couple names they have talked to, but Mike McCarthy's another name.
Mike McCarthy's one I was thinking of first off the bat, yeah.
So, like, it already felt like you were starting your coaching search with others, with guys that it's the misfit island of coaching toys, and now it feels like that on steroids. Like, let's just be really clear here. If Jim Schwartz, Todd Monken, Grant Udinski, or Nate Scheelhaus get the job, you have to give them a chance because that's going to be the head coach of the team. But let's be real clear that there are glaring issues with any one of these candidates, and there are reasons why they're either not candidates in other jobs or they're tertiary, not even secondary. We're going to the third, tertiary candidates in other spots.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not that appetizing of a job. We tried, I don't even think it's putting lipstick on a pig. We tried making this job seem appetizing because of the defense that they have. And ultimately, I think there's a lack of belief in Jimmy Haslam out there. I think there's a lack of belief in how long Andrew Berry, the guy who's making this hire, is even going to be the one making decisions. And then right now, the offense doesn't look like it's anything special. I think there's a lot of things going against this job right now where you end up with a Grant Udinski. It's because he's 30 years old and nobody else was offering him the job.
So here's the thing, though. It's the NFL, for crying out loud. When you went, okay, so the Browns did go, we're going to go outside the box, right? Because I think this is an organization, and I think Andrew likes to be the guy that says, I did something outside the box and it worked. He likes that. Yes, he does.
And I think I agree with that.
Maybe that, I don't know if that's an ego thing. I don't want to go too far with that, but
be careful putting ego on people.
You can't do it. I mean,
it just gets brought up all day.
These are salt of the earth, good-hearted people.
Naturally.
However,
I had a good convo with him once. He's not egotistical. Okay, good.
Couldn't possibly be.
Congratulations.
No, this is football. All of them. They're basically all Mother Teresa in any organization.
They're all weirdos, too, by the way. I've made that abundantly clear. I've never met a head coach that isn't a complete and utter weirdo.
Oh, totally. But here's the thing. I think you narrowed this prematurely. I do. I think that's obvious. I think the fact that Mike McDaniel thought he wasn't going to get the head coaching job, I'll stand on this. If Mike McDaniel thought he was getting the head coaching job in Cleveland, I think Mike McDaniel would have taken the interview on Wednesday. I don't think he's choosing. I think there's been some wizardry done by reports here. It is plain as day. No one in the NFL, in the annals of history, no matter if it's their first job, second job, third job, 15th job, no one's taking an OC job over a head coach. It does not matter. That is so counter logic. Oh, but he's a different kind of guy. Guys, it's the NFL. This is logic. Let's use it.
Okay.
He heard something that thought, I'm not getting this job, and I'm not going to get embarrassed by getting passed over in Cleveland.
Which would be embarrassing for him, by the way.
So
he should have done what he did.
And that was the best candidate of the bunch, in my opinion. The Minter thing, again, and I think you've pointed this out, the only problem I have is the framing of it, which is it's mutual. It's mutual because he's going to Baltimore and you're not.
Yeah, it's a weird way to phrase that. Everyone knows what's going on here.
But maybe we should have had more than 6 finalists for the second round interviews, and that's the way the Browns will inevitably spin this. We're going to talk to more people. These weren't really the only 6 candidates we were going to talk to.
And it's like, well, then why weren't they on your first list?
Yeah.
With the exception of Sean McDermott, there's not really much of a reason why they weren't on the first list.
And I think, when it comes from how do the Browns win from here, number 1, go get Sean McDermott. This is not that hard. Sean McDermott is a really good. Is he a great coach? No idea. Is he a product of Josh Allen? I can understand why people feel that way. He did win there before Josh Allen got there. And then Josh Allen was not a sure thing. When he went into Buffalo, they did develop they were patient with Josh Allen over 3 years in a way that other teams, Cleveland, wouldn't have been. So Sean McDermott has to become the focal point of this search. And if you don't do that, I better be seeing some names here that make sense, that aren't just, well, they once went to the restroom at the same urinal as Sean McVay, Kevin O'Connell, or Kyle Shanahan.
Well, we're starting to get some of this search wrapped up with other teams, and some of it's all becoming clear as to who is the top 2 or top 3 in certain spots. What is McDermott waiting on? Why hasn't he put himself out there in some sort of way? Why haven't we heard something in regards to this?
He might actually have been shocked.
Is he going to do the gap year?
That might make sense. He also might have just been shocked that he actually got fired.
I know, but if I got fired tomorrow, I'd be shocked. But I'd also understand. I give myself a day, and then let's get back up on that horse.
That's because
you got to figure this out.
It's because radio people don't make the same that coaches make.
Is it because I can't just
pay scale?
I can't just sit back and rest on my millions? Is that what that is?
But no, I would make a full court press for Sean McDermott, and anything short of that is now option C. And listen, I'm going to give you the names, and they satisfy the Rooney Rule, which is not why they're being interviewed. David Shaw should have been a candidate for this job since day one. If David Shaw 7 years ago, when he was Stanford head coach, when he had Stanford atop the Pac-12, if David Shaw had said he wanted to go to the NFL, David Shaw would have been a lot of people, including...
I don't think he got any head coaching interviews this cycle. He got a lot of OC jobs.
Yes, he did.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah. The fact that the NFL is making David Shaw go OC before he becomes a head coach
I don't
ridiculous.
even know why Detroit didn't just promote him up.
I think it was the same reason why people don't want to promote Jim Schwartz or Tommy Rees here.
By the way, fun fact, Detroit Sports Talk Radio hates the Petzing hire.
Yeah, I have heard that as well.
They hate it.
And Pete Schrager's not having any of that.
They don't understand it.
But David Shaw, former head coach, longtime coach's son, another thing that I really like, but longtime NFL assistant, former Stanford head coach, the adult in the room the Browns need. He'd be just as boring as Kevin Stefanski would press conference-wise and probably football-wise, but he'd be the adult in the room and the leader that you need. Thomas Brown, the tight ends coach of New England. The fact he wasn't interviewed and brought to a second interview, unless, again, it was another guy that turned him down, is embarrassing. He is more equipped to be a head coach of the NFL than these chuckleheads in Udinski and Shieldhouse.
But it just feels like they've made up their mind in many respects. Like they've had zero. They got the blinders on. That's no other way to put it. They got the blinders on. It's clear they want a young offensive-minded coach. And if they're not going to go young offensive-minded coach because Shieldhouse or Udinski just end up falling flat in these meetings, then they got Schwartz to fall back on.
And because I'm seeing it on tweets at Nick Wilson Says, at Jay Peterlin, on social media reactions on X, powered by Scheibin Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store. I'm seeing it on social media. Come on. Nobody wanted to waste each other's time here, guys. You're missing the freaking point, all right? Because here's the thing. If you sleep on this one, when Grant Udinski goes to Buffalo or if Grant Udinski withdraws his name from this search, don't come at me with your pen. I'm serious.
Okay.
The water's boiling. It's time to understand the water's boiling, or don't be upset when you've been boiled. That's the end of the land the plane. The point is, when you have third-degry burns, I
thought
don't
of
know.
a lobster immediately. I don't know. That's where my head was.
When somebody's pouring succulent butter all over you.
Yeah.
But, guys, they had 6 candidates that were their finalists. 2 of them pulled out because they either thought they weren't getting the job or they're getting the job or getting a better job elsewhere. When 33% of the candidates say no thank you in one way or another, that's not good. That happens a lot in Cleveland. It doesn't happen in Baltimore. It doesn't happen with the New York freaking Giants.
Yeah, well, because the Giants take Harbaugh out to a dinner and then wrap that thing up when they know that they want somebody. Where the Browns are taking this with extreme patience, and they're acting as if they have a lot of days to figure this thing out. And when you act that way and you don't get aggressive with it, sometimes a guy like McDermott opens up, and that's a good thing. And other times you end up, like Stefanski in Atlanta when the Buffalo Bills job opened up, and it's like, that's not where I want to be.